Yo, hello friends, welcome back, and today we're gonna take a look at Terra, newly awakened 6-star unit, the Vastly Underrated Red Mage. Everyone's running around going, oh, does she do as much damage as Exdeath, Kefka, Trance Terra? No, of course not. Of course she doesn't do as much damage as Trance Terra, or those other units. Those other units are like, those are black mages. Everyone's making her a black mage. She's not a black mage, she's a red mage. Everyone's looking at her the wrong way. So she's a 3-star base, 6-star max. She's got great offensive and defensive utility in certain situations, but everything in this game is situational. She can heal and raise, and she can change her role a little bit up mid-fight. So she's very flexible, and she might just be what you need on your team, depending on the situation you might find yourself in. So let's just go over some of her stats here. This is probably some of the weakest parts of her. She, as you can see here, has like super low HP, fully potted. She just barely breaks 3k. She's at 3,155 HP, 2,765 base. She does have really good MP. That's pretty strong, I think, after you pot her. 221 MP. That's a decent amount. Attack doesn't really matter. That defense is really low, but she's a mage, right? So like, what she's not Sissel, she's not gonna tank for you. Her magic is relatively high, 175. That's not bad. That's pretty strong. And then 146 spirit, that's pretty strong as well, because she is a red mage, so you can make her do a little bit of healing. Keep that in mind. So that's her stats, not too bad. She actually has pretty decent selection on equipment, so she can wear knives, swords, stabs if you need her to heal a little bit, rods if you want to do some damage, and then she can also equip guns. I don't know why you'd have her equip a gun. We did get like a gun with MP on it a while back, but even then, I don't see a gun. But she can equip shields, so that'll boost her up her defense and spirit a little bit if you have a good shield for her to wear. I think that is a light shield, not a heavy shield. So only a couple light shields have spirit, but every light shield has defense, right? Hats, clothes, and accessories. And then she has access at 6-star to both level 8 white and black magic, which may be relevant for you. We don't have access to it now, but I do believe eventually we will get a Kiraja TM that you can throw on a unit. So if you're still using her, then she doesn't have Kiraja naturally, but you can just equip her with a materia to give her Kiraja because she has 8-star white magic. So that's pretty strong as well. Her Trustmaster reward is Ultima. Nothing too fancy here. You're not really going to want to even try to get this, and if you randomly do get it, you probably won't put it on a unit anyway, because it's probably just not worth the slot. 2.8 multiplier, 25% ignore spirit, 60 MP, 1 hit. It's a decent move. It's a pretty strong move, but it's not worth the materia slot. So her limit burst is really weird. It's an 11 hit limit burst, but it's physical damage. So like she's not really going to be doing much damage with it. You might be able to do like some sort of weird chain with her, because she should get her limit burst relatively quickly, because she does have a passive that increases how fast her limit burst gauge fills. But outside of chaining with it, like she has access to swords and knives. So equip like a fire sword on her, like a flame tongue or a coral sword. You might be able to make her chain with her limit burst with someone on your team. It's a super niche scenario, but it's something she can do. Let's move on to her traits here. She got magic plus 10, MP plus 20, and then magic plus 20%. So good amount of MP and magic here from these basic traits here. And then she has Guardian Mog, which it's decent. It's like a little tacked on bonus. After a battle ends, she removes all status elements from herself. So it's nothing that's gonna like make you want to use this unit, but it's just something that kind of happens. It almost might as well not be there, but okay. Then we have Lifesaver, which increases her LB gauge fill rate by 100%, and then gives her another 20% bonus magic. So she's got a lot of bonus magic traits. I think it's 50% bonus magic total, so that's pretty strong. We're moving on to her skills here. So the skill you might know her most for is Unlock Magic, and this is the skill that probably everyone talks about and is like, oh man, Unlock Magic's the greatest thing ever, and it is really strong. it costs 21 MP, and it increases your magic by 50%, which is great. Especially if you don't have someone on your team that already boosts your magic, like maybe she's the only mage on your team, and you have like an attack boost on a unit that you have, and maybe a defense boost and a spirit boost, but you're lacking like a magic boost for some reason. You can use this and actually get like the full 50% benefit from it, so that's pretty nice. And then it allows you to use dual cast, any magic, not just dual cast black magic. It's dual cast white, blue, white, green, and black magic. It gives you Meteor and Chaos Wave for 3 turns. So everyone's like super hyped about this skill. It's super good, for sure, but it's not the reason she is good. It's just something in her kit, and that she can utilize to, when she's got nothing to do support-wise, you can use Unlock Magic, and it'll make her way stronger. Instead of like throwing a potion or an ether on someone, you use Unlock Magic, and now you have like a really hard-hitting move in Meteor, which is 2.5, ignore 25 spirit to all enemies, and you get dual cast. So even if you don't have like TMRs or whatever, you're relatively new or something, or you don't have another dual cast to put on her, she'll get dual cast. She'll also get Chaos Wave, which is 1.8 times magic damage AoE with ignore 50% spirit to all enemies, which is really strong. Ignore 50% spirit, I believe, is a straight up 50% damage bonus, so it turns into like a 3.6 times multiplier, and it's a 5 hitter, so you can chain with it as well. You cannot dual cast this though, because this is a skill, Meteor's a magic. If you use Unlock Magic, you'll be able to dual cast Meteor if you want. And then like one of her best skills and one of the best utility skills she has is Ray of Hope, which is cure all status elements to all allies for 25 MP. So this is everything, like any kind of like paralyze, petrify, blind, sleep. I don't know if it does stop, because stop is usually something you have to like dispel with like a dispel, but she can also do that, and we'll get to that soon. So this is why she's so good. She's got all this utility as far as like debuffs and status elements and stuff that she can remove. So she has Faraga. She also has Fire and Fyra, but obviously you're gonna try to use the strongest one. So she has Faraga for fire damage. That's fine. She does have Kira, which is, it's not as strong as Kiraja, but she can be like an off healer for you. You know, maybe heal up a little bit. You know, maybe you had a first turn you use Unlock Magic, and then your team gets hit a little bit, and you use her to cure a little bit in combination with your healer, and then you use like Dispelga, which she also has access to here, to remove all of the enemies' buffs that they put up. So she's got a lot of unique utility that she can do. So yeah, Dispelga, remove all status effects from all enemies. I do believe that you can self-target yourself with this, and say like an enemy used like, he made all of your teammates' defense drop by 50%, like all 6 of your units in the fight. You can target yourself with Dispelga and remove that debuff from your whole team. So she has access to the ability to remove like status ailments like Paralyze and Petrify, as well as the ability to remove like attack down, defense down, spirit down, fire resist down, stuff like that. So that is super good. Like those are like 2 of the core things she can do in her kit. That's not it though. She's got more stuff. So she's got Gravija. It's a super niche skill, because anything that is like super hard to fight is going to be immune to it. But she can help you like farm, maybe if you're just like farming for EXP. You just have like Gravija and like finish it off with another unit. Like everything's gonna have like 25% of its normal HP. So that's not bad. Flare's pretty weak. 2.3 times multiplier. It's the strongest move she has access to without using Magic Awakening. So you can just like fire this off if you don't have enough time to Magic Awakening. You like need to do a little bit of damage. You're not going to get that much damage out of it because the multiplier is really low. It doesn't have any spirit resist down, or ignore spirit resist on it. The water resistance minus 30% on it isn't that big of a deal, because like who's using water on your team? You know, even if you have like a Mercedes, her for water resistance down, where she has her X on, Mercedes is going to have like a stronger water resist down on her own move, so it doesn't matter. But she also has access to full life, so This is really nice, right? She can, you know, if you find like a lull in the fight, you've used Magic Awakening, maybe you haven't. If you've used Magic Awakening, you can double cast full life, bring 2 units back. Maybe if you have like Y'shtola as your healer, this Terra is really good for you because Y'shtola can't full life. The only other healer in the game who can full life is Refia. So this is gonna be like our second like healer. She's not really a healer, she's a support, but it's gonna be our second healer, our second unit that can double cast full life. So if you have like Y'shtola, you know, your team gets almost wiped out and a couple units die, a couple units are like severely damaged, you can use Terra, full life 1 or 2 dudes, and then use Y'shtola to heal the rest of your team to full, and then maybe have like a Cecil or someone else in your team like do focus or Protecga or something. So she's got a lot of different things that she can do, and that's why I call her the vastly underrated Red Mage. So like, what is she? Everyone's, you know, comparing her to like Exdeath and stuff. Like, who do you really compare this unit to? And who I think you compare this unit to? You compare this unit to Cloud of Darkness, or AKA Cloud of Dankness, obviously. So Cloud of Darkness, like Cloud of Darkness is used for a lot of fights because she's like a physical support, whereas Terra is a magical support. So Cloud of Darkness can do cool things for you like Omniveil to raise all your elemental resistances by 30%, which everyone used for a long time, but 30% nowadays just like isn't really cutting it anymore, especially when a lot of people have access to units like Minfilia and stuff like that. Cloud of Darkness does have native 50% elemental resistance for herself, just for being awakened at 6-star. So between Omniveil and her native resistances, she has 80% resistance to everything. So that's really strong. She's tanky in a lot of magic-based fights. Cloud of Darkness has an AoE 30% attack break and an AoE silence. Those are both really good things. She has Maneater and Maneater Plus, so she can do a decent amount of damage to humans. She also has access to Protecga, which may or may not be relevant for your team comp. That's why both of these units are very situational. That's why even I use Cloud of Darkness sometimes still. I'll like put her in my team if I need her AoE comeback ability or return or whatever it's called now to heal all my status elements. But Cloud of Darkness has really crappy weapon selection, and her abilities for damage aren't really all that great. So like, you have this nice Maneater, but you have Barrage as like your best move. Most of the time Barrage is your best move. If you're trying to finish a chain, you can use Cult of Darkness, but it's not the multiplier, and it's pretty low. And Barrage is a really dated skill now. Like, you can't chain with it, you can't finish a chain with it. Alright, we'll look at Terra over here. So, like I just said, like, one of the reasons I bring Cloud of Darkness to a lot of fights is she has Return, which will heal a lot of different status elements like Paralyze, Blind, Poison, and stuff off of my units, and Sleep and stuff like that. Well, Terra just has a better version of that. Terra's removes like Petrify as well. So she is a much better version of Cloud of Darkness's ability. Terra can remove, like I said before, like stat buffs and debuffs off of either your opponent or your own units with Dispelga. So she has access to stat debuffs and buff removal. She has access to elemental debuffs and buffs removals, as well as status element removals. She can cure in a pinch. She's not going to do obviously as much healing as like a full-on white mage who has access to Kiraja, but throughout the fight you'll be able to cast like Kira, or maybe dual cast Kira if you've been able to use Magic Awakening at some point. She has access to full life, which is insane for a 3-star unit, right? And can be a lifesaver depending on your team comp. So like, how good Terra is in Cloud of Darkness really depends on, like everything in this game is super situational. It depends on who you have in your team, what kind of holes you have in your team. If you need someone who can heal your whole team of status elements, heal your whole team of attack and stat debuffs, and remove stat buffs off your enemy, and you need someone who can like maybe heal a little bit on the side, and maybe full life is really nice for your team as well. She's pretty strong, right? She's super strong in that kind of a scenario. And then on top of that, she has unlock magic to become a different kind of a unit in certain fights. So a lot of the times you'll bring a support unit, and you know, you'll be sitting there with your support unit going on with the fight, and the opponent really doesn't like you. The monster doesn't really do a lot maybe he misses some attacks, maybe your tank like covers everybody, or covers like a super important unit, and the monster just doesn't do that much damage. That's when you use Unlock Magic, and now your Terra is super strong, right? She's able to like double cast Kira, she's able to like double cast like Dispelga, as well as Meteor, or like use a Kira into a Meteor, a Full Life into a Meteor, a Dispel into a Meteor, or just like double Meteor. And just like all of a sudden you have this unit who's just kind of sitting there supporting your team, and she just comes out of nowhere, like Randy Orton RKO style, and just is dropping meteors on your opponent's head. And that's pretty strong. I think she's pretty underrated. And people are trying to use her and compare her strictly to like a black mage like Exdeath, and saying that like, oh, she's not that great. Well, it's because she's not going to be that great as a strict black mage. That's not what she is. She's a red mage. So if you need someone who has great defensive utility, can remove status ailments and other buffs and debuffs, heal, raise, and then become like a semi black mage in the fight, like, you should look at Terra. She's a 3-star base, super easy to get right now. Like, pick her up if she's good for your team. It's always nice to have units who are super situational like that. Yeah, she's great. I've heard the argument that like, ooh, Cloud of Darkness has 30% status element, or not status element, but status ailment resist. Like, has like a 30% resistance to paralyze, blind, sleep, like that. If I'm bringing Cloud of Darkness to a fight in order to use return to keep my whole team from being status elemented, I'm not going to rely on a 30% chance for her to be immune. I'm giving her like a jeweled choker or something to make sure my Cloud of Darkness is immune, so she can carry the rest of my team on her back and make sure no one on my team is paralyzed or petrified or whatever you have. Well, Cloud of Darkness can't even do petrify. That's why Terra's better, right? So in that kind of a situation, you just give Terra like an accessory that makes her immune to whatever certain status element you're trying to keep off of your whole team. And you can definitely do that with her. I've done that on a lot of fights with Cloud of Darkness. So, you know, get out there. If Terra's good for you, go and get her. Don't believe the unhype. She is good. She is situational. She's a very strong support, especially if you're new to the game. Obviously, she's not as OP as like Setzer or something who's going to sit there and blow everyone away, but usually supports aren't going to blow everyone away for you, right? So, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys liked the layout. I tweaked it a little bit. If you liked it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. If there's something you want to see, let me know. Share it with your friends. Sub if you like it, and I'll catch you guys later.